tofluency.com. Welcome to this live English lesson. If you're here live, let me know what you think about the music. I couldn't hear it, so please let me know if the music worked properly. So in today's lesson, we're going to talk about the daily commute. Now, the daily commute just means your journey from your home to work or your journey from home to school. So this is what we're going to talk about today, and more specifically, how you can improve your daily commute. And I've used an article which you can find in the description from Lifehacker, and they give 10 ways that you can improve your daily commute. We're going to talk about 5 of those, and I'm going to introduce one too. Now, near the end of this lesson, I'm going to give you another example of the present perfect versus the past simple. So stay until the end because I've got a great example for you. I'm also going to share an Instagram post as well. But for now, let's have a look at the comments. Someone says the sound is so bad, terrible sound. I can't hear what you said. So maybe it's not working very well. Someone says, why don't you look at the comments? I am looking at the comments now. Someone's saying, I can see, but it's really blurry. So, guys, it looks like things aren't working very well so far. But if it's really blurry, it might be your connection. Because this is a live show, it means that the connection isn't always that great. If it's not, try to reload the page and also watch the replay. Let's go back to the comment section. It's better now, which is good. Dalia says, hello, Jack. I miss your live lessons. Esteval says, it's nice here. Hello from El Salvador. That's Gerson. Good to have you. Everybody, if you are just joining live, come and say hi in the chat box. It'll be good to hear from you. We have 61 people currently watching live. So, people, come say hi in the chat box. Now, let's go back to the presentation. Again, if you're new here, or if you don't have my book, go to tofluency.com/book. Now, look at the picture on your screen now. I'm going to just read the caption from this. I said in this photo, I'm so full. Normally, I finish everything on my plate, but this salad was huge. I'm going to take this home and have it later. I always enjoy eating leftovers. Is it common to take leftovers home with you where you are? So, in this photo, you can see a salad. And in America, you get huge servings. You get so much food when you order something at a restaurant. So I couldn't finish this. I couldn't finish this salad. So instead, I put it into a box and took it home with me. Now, look at this phrase here on your screen. I'm so full. Just repeat this with me. I'm so full. Now, a lot of the time, what we do is we put the emphasis on the so. I'm so full. So let's practice that. I'm so full. Good. I can't hear you repeating it, but I hope that you are. So this means that I ate too much and my stomach was full. I'm so full. But here are another couple of ways that you can talk about this. And the first one is, I think, British English. I'm stuffed. I'm stuffed. So you'll hear people say this in the UK. I'm stuffed. And another one, I couldn't eat another bite. I'm not able to eat another bite of food. I'm so full, I couldn't eat another bite. So let's just go back to the comment section. Than says, is that vegetarian food? No, it had chicken in it. Marcos is here from California. We've got someone from the Ukraine. I can't remember your name. Anastasia, maybe? Holly is here. Hi, Jack. Hope to see you again. I hope it consists 3 days a week. I hope so too. Estevao, practicing his writing. I'm so stuffed. Alessandra is here. Paley is here as well. I love watching this live video so much. Thank you. It's great to have you. Vitalina says, I'm especially not sleeping. I'm watching and listening to you. Good to have you. So, the 3 ways we can talk about this. I'm so full. I'm stuffed. I couldn't eat another bite. Look at your screen again. And if you are from Portugal, let me know where in Portugal this is. Or if you know where this is and you're not from Portugal, please leave me a comment as well. Because I know this is in Portugal, but I don't know where this is from exactly. But the reason I'm showing this photo is because you can see a few different ways that people are getting around the city, or different ways that people are moving around the city. So firstly, on the left, you see a tram. A tram. Now, in lots of cities in the UK, or in Europe in general, you can go by tram. So there are tram systems in the UK, in Europe, and also in different countries too. But I have taken the tram a lot in Spain. There is also a tram in a city near where I am from, in a place called Blackpool. Now, on the right, you can also see a car. And then on the sidewalk, or the pavement, you can see a guy who looks like a businessman. He's wearing a shirt and he has a bag on. Now, the reason I'm showing this picture is because we're going to talk about the daily commute today. The daily commute. Alejandra says, it's my first time and I'd like to know when is the next class. I'm going to tell you at the end of this class when the next one is. So, the daily commute. The daily commute is basically, or just commuting in general. This means traveling from your home to work and then back. So it's that journey that people take, usually on a daily basis, to go to work. So I commute to work by car. I commute to my office by car. Sometimes I work at home. Sometimes I walk to a coffee shop or a tea shop. But when I come to this office, I go by car. I drive in my car to work. So my daily commute is about 5 to 8 minutes, usually. If there's traffic, it's a little bit longer, but usually it's about 5 to 8 minutes. So it's a really nice commute. Now, I've got a question for you. How do you get to school or work? How do you get to work or to school? So please leave me a comment in the comment section. If you're watching the replay, please do that as well. Valentina walks to work. So a lot of the time, I'm going to bring up the comments again. Look at Valentina's comment. Thank you, Valentina. Normally what we say is, I get to work on foot, or I walk to work, I bike to work, I drive to work, I get to work by car. That's the most common 2 ways to say this. I'm going to leave a couple of comments in the comment section as well, so you can see what I'm writing. I get to work by car, I drive to work. Those are the 2 real variations of this. I drive to work, I walk to work, I take the train to work. I'll leave that one too. I take the train to work. So try and use those sentences when we're talking about this. But we've got a few people who go by motorcycle, which is great. Estevao, I usually go by car. I go to work in a cab. I get to work on foot. Fantastic, Antonio, sorry. Vitalina says by bus, by foot, by bus, subway, by car, on foot, by foot. I use a bus and train when I go to school. We've got a bus, a car, a bus, bike, walk to work, lots of different ways that people get to work. Sarah is here. I'm only here to say hello. Well, stay for the lesson as well. Stay for this lesson. So thank you everyone for your comments. We've got a couple more people saying tram, walking as well. Is it better to say on foot? Yeah, say on foot. Fantastic. Bus. Now, when I lived in Spain, I used to teach, when I was in Bilbao specifically, I used to teach in 2 different shipyards. Now, this was a little bit different, but there were 2 companies in Bilbao who built ships. They made ships. And I used to teach English to the people who worked there. I also gave private lessons as well. And these lessons were all over the city. Bilbao is a fantastic city for traveling. And what I mean by that is there are so many different options for people to get around the city, to move around the city. So when I went to work, I either took the train, took a tram. I never really took a bus, but it was either the train or the tram. There's also an underground system that I sometimes took. You can talk about the underground or the subway. Then there were other options as well. I think I remember there have been about 7 options that you could use to move around the city. So I walked a lot as well. If I had lessons, near my house, I used to walk. So I used to use lots of different modes of transport. Now, here in America, and I've talked about this before, it's very difficult to use public transport. The buses are irregular, so they're not very regular. They don't come very often. And the buses also are very slow. They go through long journeys and it takes about 20 minutes to get downtown. A lot of people bike, but it's quite dangerous because they don't have very good cycle paths here. They don't have very good bike lanes. So it is difficult to bike around the city in a safe way. And walking is difficult too. For example, on my road, there are no sidewalks, there are no pavements. So you have to walk in the road to get to the main street. There are no trains, there are no trams. The only public transport really is either the bus or if you go privately to use Uber or a taxi. So yeah, it's not very good in that way. Success Addict says, I get to work by jet. We've got another one who goes to work by plane. That's incredible. I think you might be not telling the truth here, but we'll see. Emily says, what is a tram? Not a tram. I'm going to type it for you. A tram. So we're talking about using a tram. And if you look on your screen now, then you can see a tram on the left of your screen. Nobody has told me where in Portugal this is. I would love to know where in Portugal we are talking about. So let's get back to this. Daily commute. We've talked about how do you get to work or school. And a lot of people have said by car, by tram, by bus, by plane, on foot. Lots of different ways that people get to work or get to school. Now, what can happen is these commutes can be very long. So what I want to know now, how long does it take you to get to work? I'm going to type that in the comment section again. Please leave your comment. How long does it take you to get to work? So please let me know in the comment section. And Antonio says, is that a kind of electric train? It is. It's like a train, but it's a little bit different. Usually they're smaller, they go a lot slower, and they also go in the road as well. So Paley or Pally says 16 minutes to get to work. It takes me, like I said before, 5 to 8 minutes usually. Burkan, it takes about 2 hours. That's a long journey. 10 minutes, 10 to 8 minute walk, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, give or take. Great phrase. Elena, it takes me 1 hour to get to work. It takes just 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, 30 minutes, 50 minutes. So we're getting lots of responses here, which is fantastic. 10 minutes by bus, 3 minutes by plane. Lucas, please tell the truth or show me a picture. Valentina, an hour, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, and 25 minutes on foot. Very cool. So a lot of different responses there. A lot of people, it takes about 15 minutes for most people. But as you can see, sometimes an hour or 2 hours. Now, sometimes people find this commute stressful or boring. Okay, one of the two normally. Usually people find it stressful, especially if they're late for work, if they're running late for work. So if you set off too late and you think, oh, I have to be at work in 10 minutes, but it takes me 15 minutes, it's very stressful. Also, if it's a long commute and you're on a bus or a train or even in the car, it can be quite boring. So Lifehacker, they wrote this article where they talked about 10 ways, I'll get the title, 1 second, the top 10 ways to improve your commute. The top 10 ways to improve your commute. So we're going to look at those ways now. So if you look at your screen, you can see number 1. And I just had a great comment here from Eunice saying, it's stressful in a big city. Yeah, if there's lots of traffic, it's really stressful. If it takes longer than normal, it's really stressful. But the best way, or the number 1 here, the number 1 way to improve your commute is to listen to a podcast. So very quickly, in the comment section, do you listen to the radio, to music, or to a podcast on your way to work? On your way to work. Do you listen to a podcast, the radio, or music on your way to work? Now, this is something that I think is so important because if you have 15 minutes, if you have 30 minutes, if you have 1 hour, then listen to English. This is the best time that you can use to improve your English. And it's something that you can do while you're driving, while you're on the bus, while you're on the train, whatever way you get to work. You can listen to English podcasts, you can listen to my videos, you can listen to BBC podcasts or podcasts from newspapers, podcasts about any subject. So a lot of the time when people say they're too busy to learn English, they don't think enough about their podcast or about their commute and how they can listen to things in English. So let me bring up the comment section. I listen to music, I listen to radio. I have a headache whenever I'm on the bus. Music is best for me. I read a book, but sometimes it makes me sick. Music, the radio. So what I recommend you do, if you like music, listen to music that is sung in English. So British, American, Australian music, Irish music, etc. Anything that's sung in English. The good thing about music is the words and the music itself is very memorable. So there's a great phrase here, to have something stuck in your head. So sometimes you listen to a song and it just repeats in your head all the time. If this is English, then you're getting fantastic repetition and you're going to remember words and phrases in a natural way. Esteval says, I prefer to listen to podcasts, and Esteval asked me if I have a podcast. Not yet. 2017, definitely. A few people are listening to podcasts, but the BBC is very hard for me to understand. That was from Rashid. Yes, sometimes podcasts are difficult to understand. So what I recommend you do is find a podcast that's easier to understand, something that you can enjoy. If it's too difficult, it's not enjoyable. So find something that you can enjoy. Let's go back to this. Let's look at number 2 now. Make it leisurely. Make it leisurely. So on this article, they talk about setting off earlier. Now, I made a phrasal verb lesson on this. Set off. You can find that on my YouTube channel. Now, setting off earlier means to leave your house earlier. So let's say you're normally rushing to work and you're stressed out. You're feeling so stressful about it because there's traffic and you're worried about being late. What you can do is set off 10 minutes earlier and just enjoy it a little bit more. If you're not rushing, then you're not as stressed. So this is something to think about, to set off earlier. Now, when I was in Spain, I always got to my lessons early. And if I got there early, I would go and have a coffee at the coffee machine. I'd do some reading, or if it was at a private lesson, I'd go to the shops or the cafes below the lesson. And for me, it meant that I could walk around the city. I was more calm. I wasn't as stressed out. So that's the second option here. Let's go to number 3. I like this one. Find a different route to work. Find a different route to work. Now, what's interesting, in American English, you'll hear route. So this is a difference in pronunciation between British and American English. Route versus route. Find a different route to work. Find a different route to work. Again, when I was in Spain, there were so many ways I could get to my lessons. So I used to try different ways to walk there. I used to go different ways just to make it interesting. Now, for some people, that's not always possible. Maybe there's just one way to get to work. But what this can do is it can take you out of that mindset where you're just zoning out. You're not looking around. You're not noticing anything new. And by taking a different route to work, whether this is on a different mode of transport, a different route on foot, a different route by car, it allows you just to appreciate different things and to be more aware of new things as well. Let's bring up the comment section. Donnie says, I love doing leisurely things. Lucas says there is only one route. And Nihai says, I get to work by motorbike. A lot of people are going to work by motorbike, which is really interesting. Let's look at number 4. This one's a little bit different. Disconnect completely. Disconnect completely. Now, to disconnect means to just not worry and not think about work, not think about your life. Instead, you just disconnect. It can also mean to stop using, I'll show you mine, stop using your phone. So a lot of people, when they are on the bus or on a train, they're on their phone, they're connecting with people, they're on Facebook and doing those types of things. And what this point suggests is to disconnect from your phone, stop thinking about work, try not to worry about things, and just observe. So if you're on a train, this just means to look out the window and to observe different things, just to look at things that you pass. And I love this because sometimes, again, the commute to work can be super stressful. And we can worry too much about planning. What should I do today? What do I need to do? What ideas do I have? But instead, you can just take that time and maybe even meditate, where you just focus, or you don't focus on anything, you just clear your mind. And I love this because, especially before a busy day at work, where you're constantly writing, typing, answering the phone, it depends on your job, but people are normally really busy at work. And to disconnect gives you that time for yourself to just relax and enjoy that part of the day. Let's bring up the comment section again. Could you recommend some interesting novels to learn English? Yeah, stick around. I'll talk about those soon. Valentina says, it's difficult to do. I meet my colleagues on the way. Yeah, and in a lot of situation, it just depends on you and your situation. If you're on a train and you see your colleagues, your workmates, then everyone talks about work. Normally people complain. That's what I find when you meet your colleagues or your workmates outside of work, people like to complain. So number 4 is to disconnect completely. Number 5 is the opposite of that. Use it as a time to brainstorm new ideas. Use it as a time to brainstorm new ideas. So this means that you can use this time productively. It's the opposite of the last one. So you can think about new ideas for your work, new ideas for how to better spend time with your family and friends. So for me, on my way to work, I am thinking about work. You know, sometimes I try to just focus. Sometimes I do breathing exercises. Other times I'm thinking about what am I going to do in this live lesson today. For example, this morning I did some breathing exercises, and then for the last few minutes I was thinking, what am I going to teach today? And because I was in the car, I was thinking about the commute, and I thought, let's talk about commuting to work. So this was an opportunity for me to think about new ideas as well. Now, I've got one more for you, and it's this one. This is mine. This is my contribution, and it's to work. Sorry, not work, walk. That's a great pronunciation exercise. The difference between walk and work. Walk, work. So I'm talking about walking now. And for me, again, this depends on you, but if it's possible, I find walking somewhere is just one of the best things that you can do. It helps you move your body, and it helps you just get into a good mood. So if you can, listen to a podcast and walk to work. Okay, let's move on a little bit, and let's have a little bit of a recap from last week. Donny says, actually, first, comments. Donny says 4 and 5 are contradictory recommendations. Yes, they are. That's the thing. It's not advice that I'm saying you have to do or this is what you should do. These are ideas, different ways that you can improve. And also, you can spend half your time brainstorming new ideas and half your time disconnecting. So it's something that you can do. Yeah, very good. There's a good comment before I wanted to say. Alejandra says, in Mexico subway, there is so many things going on. There's so many things to see. It's difficult to disconnect. Yeah, a lot of the time it is difficult. Donny says, if you're on the subway, you can't look through the window. You can, but usually it's dark. And then you see a new station. And then you see a new station. Let's have a recap now of last week. So who remembers this lesson on the present perfect? I look tired in this photo, but I thought I would show it. So who remembers this lesson? We talked about the present perfect. What I want to do is just to end the lesson on this. Okay, end the lesson on this. I'm also going to answer a couple of questions that I got during this lesson. But look at this example. Let's read this to yourself. Okay, I went to the gym 4 times last week. I went to the gym 4 times last week. So, like we talked about in the lesson on the present perfect, when we're using last week, yesterday, last year, in 2007, we use the past simple. I went to the gym 4 times last week. However, when we're using this week, we use the present perfect in most cases. I haven't been to the gym this week yet. I haven't been to the gym this week yet. Now, it's only Monday, so I plan to go to the gym probably around 3 times this week. In fact, I'm going to go today before I go home. So when I drive home from work, I'm going to stop at the gym and go to the gym. Let's bring up some comments. Dat says, add my Snapchat. Guys, add my Snapchat. Be sure to add Dat's as well. But if you are on Snapchat, it's simple. You can see it there, To Fluency. I'm going to get on Snapchat today. Walking helps burn calories. It certainly does. I can't read your name. That's an incredible name. I can't read that. I'm sorry. Walking helps us to lose weight. Antonio says it does. And it just makes you feel better, doesn't it? Walking makes you feel better. I've gone to the gym this week. Very good. I've just had a cup of coffee. Very good, Dahlia. 2 questions someone asked before. When is the next live lesson? Okay, Wednesday is my birthday. And I was going to give a live lesson on Wednesday. But I'm not sure if I'm going to. So if I don't give another live lesson on Wednesday, there's going to be one on Friday. So either Wednesday and Friday or just Friday for this week. But moving forward, I hope it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, most weeks. There will be some lessons that I miss, but most weeks, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now, someone also asked, what are the best novels to help you learn English? What books can you read to help you learn English? The key here is to choose a novel that you're going to enjoy. You can read anything as long as you can understand most of it. You can use it as an exercise to learn new words and phrases, but to really enjoy it, you should be able to understand the story. And then also choose a novel that you enjoy reading, something that you're going to just enjoy for reading. Now, if you're someone who loves reading books, then most novels will be okay for you. But find something that you're going to enjoy. I've given some recommendations in the past. One that I do recommend, because the language is a little bit easier, is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Okay, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. So have a look at that. I also like reading non-fiction books. A book I recommend all the time is Sapiens. A fantastic book. And check out my YouTube channel, because just search inside my channel for books, and I have different videos where I talk about the best books to learn. Let's bring up the comment sections. People are saying nice things. Alessandra says, have a wonderful birthday. Thank you. Happy birthday, and thanks for providing lessons. Thank you. Sujin Fuad says happy birthday as well. So again, everybody, if you're new here, if you don't have my book, tofluency.com/book, the 5-step plan for English fluency. And if you already have it, get the audio version, tofluency.com/audio. The link is on your screen now, and it will be in the description as well. So I hope you have enjoyed this lesson. If you have, give it the thumbs up and share it with your friends. Let's try and grow this community together. Thank you everyone who has been here live. Again, if you're watching the replay, leave your comments below too. Okay, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic week. I'll let you know if I'm going to give a lesson on Wednesday. Otherwise, I'll see you on Friday. Have a great week, everyone, and keep learning English. Bye-bye.